Good morning, everybody. It is meteorologist Aiden Weather Forecast, and welcome back to the video, guys. I'm gonna be doing my first ever hurricane forecast. I do hope you guys like it. I'm not a really expert on hurricanes, but I know quite a bit. But this is gonna be my first because I did start late November, which is kind of when hurricane season still is in the Atlantic, but again, it's not really where the action was beginning. So I had to do forecasts even before. So guys, hurricane season is just around the corner, or the Atlantic hurricane season is just around the corner. It begins June 1st. And it is the 26th of May. Very, very close, guys, and anything can happen early. So I'm just going to go ahead and do my hurricane forecast before I do leave for my vacation. So let's go ahead and look at what's going in the tropical Atlantic right now. So we're honestly just going to have just a lot of precip going on in this general area. So the areas we really need to watch out for with these early hurricanes, it's usually right here. They come from the African coast. That's usually where they come in from the early hurricanes, but just looking like a lot of precip in that Caribbean area. And then we go all the way to next Tuesday, Wednesday, 29th of May. Looking just like generally a lot of precipitation in these areas, but not looking like a lot of irritation, honestly, just not looking like there's going to be any possibility of a hurricane developing here, or any depression, just nothing. It's just going to have a lot of precip, but in general, these are the areas we need to watch out for, as anything can happen in the next couple of days with this precip. You never know. We go to the 31st of May, looking like a bit more precip coming in parts of the Mexico area and parts of the Colombian area, looking like we have a bit more precip, but honestly, it's looking like quite a wet area, but not looking like there's going to be any possibilities of having some hurricane developing here. We go to June 1st right here. This might be something to look out for right here. With all this precip coming in, this might have something coming in here, but again, very far away. At this point, you guys we can't say anything unless it's like 3 or 4 days away. And then we go to June 4th, looking like we're having a lot of precip coming in this area. Oops, that's my highlighter. Don't use my highlighter. Let me get my pen out. But looking like we're having a lot of precip forming in this Mexico area. That can be something to watch out. And then we're having quite a lot of precip in that Cuba area. So in general, we all know these general areas to check out. We go all the way to the next 10 days, having not really anything to look out for. Nothing out of the ordinary here. Just the near the equator rain, the tropical rain. And then we go all the way into this 8th of June. Still looking like, or we might have something come in here. But in general, again, nothing that's out of the ordinary, nothing to keep an eye on really, except maybe this ongoing precip in the Mexico area. That might be something to look out for again, but not really a huge threat that we're looking at right now. So let's check out the vorticity. So basically, if you guys are wondering what vorticity is, it's around like the moisture, the rotation, the moisture. It's kind of like hurricanes, or not. It's kind of like tornadoes, except hurricanes get their energy on the heat and the moisture of the warm waters. But what you really want to see if you want to see this dark red in like a little area like this, looking like a little circle with the little bands like that, and you want to see a dark red in there, that's what we're kind of looking for the vorticity, and you actually see some. But honestly, in the next 12 hours, not anything looking like nothing out of the ordinary for non-hurricane season. But let's just go in the next couple of days. We might have 1 or 2 spots right here. This can be a little area to look at in the next 72 hours. You can kind of see what basically we're looking for, honestly. But this is not really organized. Might not be anything, but again, looking like it's kind of having that, looking like for that what's gonna look like, but then honestly it just moves really fast. It just goes away really fast, and then we go all the way to June 2nd, June 1st. Might have something, but it's very, very small off this coast of the on the Nicaragua area, looking like just off the coast there. But it's not looking, again, not really organized. Not looking anything very serious at this point in the next 10 days. And then we have another area in the Mexico area, just off the coast right here. But again, looking like it's very close to the coast of the Mexico area. Looking like if it even is something to look at, it's going to be almost directly on land. So looking like not going to have all that energy to get from the water. So that's not looking like anything. So let's check out the Pacific Ocean now, which is already in their hurricane season, I believe. That's what I know of. So let's go ahead and take a look at what we're seeing in this radar now. Sorry if it's for some reason like reloaded, so I have to redo this now. But we're just gonna go the next 10 days, which is 240 hours there. So let me just get there. All right, let's go very quick. So in the next 6 hours, not looking like anything. We're just having these low pressure systems bringing in all that rain in the west. Nothing out of the ordinary, honestly. Quite quiet. It's quite quiet, if that makes sense, if you guys understand that. But it's nothing out of the ordinary. Just seeing that in general, these low pressures off the west coast. Not looking at anything that has very heavy rain with some outer bands in there, except for these low pressure systems forming on the Pacific. The Pacific's quite not boring right now at this time. I don't want to say boring because anything can happen there, but it's quiet. It's not really active right now. We're not really seeing anything at all out of the ordinary. We're just gonna see that little area right here that we saw in that vorticity area in the next 10 days. But honestly, in the general area, if you see anything out of the ordinary, we're not seeing it right here in the next 10 days. And I don't want to go any farther, honestly, because if it's not looking like anything at all in the next 10 days, honestly, if we see anything, just say next 15 days, it's going to be a very small chance of happening as it's very far. But nothing out of the ordinary. Looking at the precip or any type of rain, looking at the radar, not anything really that bad. It reloaded again. So we're going to take a look at the vorticity. I took a look at the models before I did this video. And again, the vorticity in the Pacific's a bit calmer than we saw in the Atlantic. We're not seeing any kind of rotation whatsoever at all. You're probably looking at this, honestly, but that is in very cold water conditions there. That's most likely not anything to worry about there. And then, honestly, not really even a lot of vorticity whatsoever at all. Maybe having this little thing, that wind with the low pressure systems, but not looking like any vorticity or nothing out of the ordinary. This is not really looking like anything to worry about. Again, not really seeing what a hurricane would go up there. But in general, and anyways, it's quite big. It's not really looking like that. It's not really going to look that big. It's kind of looking like just very non-active in the Pacific for the next couple of days. But again, even with the Atlantic, it's not looking any active right now, which is kind of good as we need people to start preparing, as it's hurricane season not even here yet. But why isn't doing this? All right, so we're gonna take a look at the wind shear now, and the knots. So we're gonna be taking to see if we see anything out of the ordinary with the if we see any high amounts of wind shear. Usually it's around 96 knots that you if it's 96 or knots or above, that's when you kind of maybe want to look at it. But even if it's above 96 knots, and it's very far away, not really anything to worry about. And if it's 96 knots in the inland areas, that's definitely not anything to worry about, as it's going to be in the ocean. So let's just look at the next couple hours in the tropical Atlantic. It's going to be quite some maybe marginal numbers here, just maybe up to 68 knots right here. Not really anything very high. Maybe you can just see 64 knots right here, and then right around it we have some 58 knots. So that's not looking like anything really, but in general, I probably said that word like 5 times. But really, what you want to look at, it's right here in this area that you want to look at when it's coming to the early part of the Atlantic hurricane season. And then when we go to the 31st of May, it's looking like the same thing, really. You're just going to have some around 64 to 68 knots, really. Not looking like anything off the African coast. Maybe some little bit high numbers off that Cuba coast, but not high enough. Really, like I said, you want to see the 96 knots. We go the 1st of June. Let's go the 1st of June. We're going to have a bit higher numbers. We're going to have about 85 to maybe even 80 knots right here. Not really high enough whatsoever. It's going to be in some warm ocean temperatures, but this might be the area we want to look at for the next couple of days, just to see if there's any really high numbers that we see in this wind with any high wind shear. And then we go the next couple. Then we go reach that 10-day mark. Just very quiet as we go the next 10 days. Honestly, not even into the 60 knots right here. It's going to be very low numbers of the really low up to maybe 50 knots in some of these areas, reaching 60 knots. That's very low. You want to see these knots, if you really want a hurricane, you want to see these numbers up here in the Atlantic Ocean, like in these warm waters. So now we're going to check out the vorticity in the Atlantic or the Pacific now. I'm not sure why it's keep on reloading these things, but let me just get it to the next 10 days so you guys, you don't really see it super fast. Alright, let's just get there. Alright, so let's go to the next 12 hours. We're gonna have some high numbers in the wind shear, but that's not really in general with the anything that had to do with the tropical weather or anything. And then we go the next couple of days, we're just not really gonna see anything at all whatsoever. We're just gonna see that high pressures and push up the wind shears and off into a little stream. We're gonna see a little stream right here with this high pressure system that's gonna have a little stream off into the Pacific, bringing pretty windy conditions off into the southwest. But that's just honestly just a little wind stream. Honestly, nothing whatsoever. We're even gonna look at how low these numbers are right here. Very low numbers, like not even getting into up to the 50 knots. It's just very non-active, just quiet, very quiet. And then we're gonna have another high pressure system that's gonna bring that stream. You can see right here, gonna push up this stream out to the north, but not really anything whatsoever has to do with the tropical weather. So honestly, nothing even with the parts of the Pacific, nothing really to look at there. And now we're gonna take a look at what the Weather Channel's prediction has. Many of us actually know what's. Hopefully, it doesn't play a video. I'm hoping this video doesn't play, but this is what the Weather Channel has for predicting. We had the 30-year average, the category 3 or higher, which is a major hurricane. We have 3 of those in the 30-year average. We've had 12 named storms in average. Now let's see what the NOAA. The NOAA has above average on total named storms, up to 15 total named storms, and then we're just looking at above average of hurricane season prediction, 4 to 8 hurricanes. So we all know from Cat 1 to Cat 3, and then major hurricane, which is Cat 3 to Cat 5. That's 2 to 4. So we've seen a 3 in the Colorado State, looking at 2. But let's look at the Weather Channel has. We have the Weather Channel is saying 14 total named storms, which is above average. We've looked at the 12-year average. And then we have the 7 hurricanes, which is above average, as we have 6. And then 3 major hurricanes, which is Cat 3 to Cat 5, which is actually average. So we're looking at above average for total named storms and above average of hurricanes. And then we're looking at average for major hurricanes. So it's going to be in between the average and above, but a bigger chance of having above. As you're going to see why. We're going to see really high temperatures right here. Really warm temperatures, like at 30 degrees Celsius. These oceans are quite warm. You can really see why this is the general area where we see these hurricanes form really early, because you can really see how warm these oceans are getting right here. And it's getting quite warm. It's about average sea temperatures, but we're really starting to see them warm up off this African coast, what can really cause a system to come around and move up the parts of the coast. But you never know what can happen. We can even have these 27 degrees Celsius to turn to 31 and quickly turn this storm into what we saw in the Carolinas. But really warm temperatures off the Mexican coast, which is why we are taking a look right here in general, the next couple of days, we're taking a look right here. We saw on that radar. We saw the vorticity coming right here. So it's kind of something we need to look at as we see these really warm temperatures that could feed something and cause something. But in general, very cold temperatures that are in parts of major parts of the Atlantic, but near to the tropical. We're going to have some above average temperatures off that Cuban coast. But again, guys, the major area we want to take a look at is right here. And then maybe a smaller spot to take a look there. But we honestly are looking at maybe above average due to the above, or due mostly to the global warming issue. Many people don't believe in that, but that can possibly making those oceans a lot warmer earlier into the season, which can cause actually hurricanes even before hurricane season begins, and the Atlantic hurricane season begins. Now we're going to be looking at just a general the water index, what we're going to be looking at here. So we're honestly just going to see the above average water temperatures up on the coast, and like I said, we're going to see some above average temperatures, water temperatures near that Cuban coast, and then we're going to have some really warm temperatures off that Mexican coast, or not the Mexican coast, near that Central America coast with the South America coast. That's where we can really have these above average temperatures, again, why we need to look at here. And then we're having quite some cold temperatures off the African coast, which is why I circled down here and I made a box right here, because this is honestly one of the, let me make this a bit bigger, guys. This is honestly the areas we might want to look at really quick as we're seeing these temperatures starting to get really warm. And then I did not box this because generally we do box this area right here, but it's around 2.8 degrees below average, which is quite making it really cold. We can actually take a quick look back there where it's seeing very, very cold temperatures, 21 degrees Celsius around there. So that's why I circled here, because that's where we're seeing these above average temperatures. We can see it here, seeing them above average temperatures in parts of the African coast. So guys, I do hope you guys enjoyed my first hurricane forecast. I'm really hoping to have my hurricane season go well. I'm really hoping to learn a lot more about hurricanes, doing more hurricane forecast. But again, hope you guys do enjoy my forecast. Hope you guys somehow agree with me. And yeah, see you guys in the next video.